All right. And we have this wonderful countdown. Just waiting.
I like this loading screen.
I do. I really do. The WCS loading screen. It's so nice. Everything's so prim and proper. But all right, let's introduce these players. Spawning in the bottom right position. He took the first game with Hellbats. His second game, Hellbats didn't do so well for him. He is trying to take this and move on. It is Empire's BeastyQT. And spawning in the top left position, displaying a really just level-headed play, not falling to the Hellbats even after the Ninja base mined out his fourth base pretty much completely. He has managed to tie this series up, and he will also be looking to advance in WCS Challenger League. It is Clarity Gaming's Shuttle.
So game 3 of 3. Everything on the line. For those of you who don't know or don't quite understand how the Challenger division works in Stage 1, whoever wins this game advances forward. They will definitely be playing against one of the people who was knocked out of the Premier League group stages. I can't remember off the top of my head who they'll be up against, but we'll check that after the game. Now, the loser of this best of 3 isn't out of WCS EU. They go down into the Challenger League group phase. So they've still got a chance, they just won't be able to go up into Premier anytime soon. So that is where things stand. That is what's on the line for these two. And without doubt, these two want to make it up into Premier. That's where the big money is. That is where the real fame is. And of course, it's very competitive. The people in the Challenger League are exceptionally good and everything really to play for right now. And we do have BeastyQT going a little bit of a strange way, just checking to make sure there's no sneaky shenanigans going to be occurring. But both players just getting barracks up in their main bases.
Yep, and BeastyQT going for that gas first build once again. It's about as much as I expected from him. It's that a really aggressive style he likes. SCV being a little bit of a nuisance from Shuttle. Beasty doesn't want to, of course, lose a worker at the start of the game. He's going to delay that barracks a tiny bit, but Shuttle goes for the barracks into the gas. So this is also about equally expected from him. He's going to go for an early Reaper, which can put a little bit of pressure on, considering that BeastyQT's barracks. He wants to delay that SCV from building it as long as possible. At most, he's going to have a Marine out versus the Reaper, and this is where things can get a little bit tricky for BeastyQT. He's going to start his factory, but this Reaper could do quite a bit of damage if he controls it properly.
Yeah, the Reaper definitely can. It's all going to come down to the micro for Shuttle here and how much he's able to achieve with that Reaper. BeastyQT, the big question is, do we reckon he's going to be going for that one-base Hellbat drop play again we saw in Game 1?
I feel like that's just kind of BeastyQT's thing. I've also seen him, if you tuned in, I believe it was versus either Cass or Straylock in one of the qualifiers. BeastyQT went for gas first into Banshee as well. So he can either go for the Hellbat play or he can go for Cloak Banshee. He's shown that he's comfortable with either in the qualifier. The SCV does see this Reaper, so BeastyQT's likely going to build a Hellion immediately out of this factory instead of waiting for the reactor to finish. Depending on how brave he's feeling, he is going to lose this Marine, it looks, and now that Hellion does now start up, but this Reaper is going to at least get that Marine kill and possibly an SCV or two.
Yeah, a couple of SCVs on that Reaper would be very nice. He's already got 2 kills getting that Marine, so that's good for him. The second Reaper is also on its way across the map. BeastyQT starting up his starport now. He's getting out a couple more Marines. That Hellion will really shut down the Reaper very effectively. But the big thing is that you've got to make sure that you keep these Reapers back, you don't lose too much to it. But Shuttle, he's got such good scouting information. He hasn't actually seen that the second gas is down for BeastyQT. That's the only bit of information that he hasn't got at the moment, but he knows the Hellion's there. I don't really doubt that he's going to be very cautious about any kind of drop play or Cloak Banshee play, because that is what BeastyQT's been aiming to do for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, BeastyQT's managed to pretty much go for a very greedy opener as far as tech goes. While Shuttle opening up with the aggressive double barracks Reaper play, and he has a good number of Reapers. They can trade somewhat effectively versus Hellions in straight up fights, but BeastyQT, he's not taking any unnecessary risks, and he's actually going to go for that Banshee play that we've seen him do against Koss in the qualifier. So not unusual by any means, and well, Shuttle, he really can't do too much with his Reapers right now.
He can't. Shuttle, he's got that second command center about 3/4 done, his second gas on its way through. He's just sitting back quite nicely, getting a bunker of the natural base. He wants to play it quite safe. Those 4 Reapers, sitting just outside the potential third base location of BeastyQT. Hellion's checking around, making sure that not hiding anywhere in case he moves out. That first Banshee is about to pop. A Raven is going to be following up straight after that. So, really nice start here out of BeastyQT. This Banshee needs to just be careful not to get scouted by that SCV. But it's going to.
Yeah, he sees it. He's actually going to pick it off, and now he knows, and knowing is half the battle, Metals. His Reapers are going to run up towards the natural expansion, though. He's going to try to find a place to duck in. Maybe he thinks the Hellions moving out with the Marines, but they are not. And Shuttle is going to possibly try to just run by these, at least maybe pick up an SCV, scout out the rest of the tech. He sees that there's a tank on the way, so this is kind of looking like it's a bit of a one-base Marine tank Banshee play. This is something that was super popular in the early days of, or I guess any time really in Wings of Liberty. It's a very strong one-base all-in style. You open up with a Raven, you pretty much get all of your detection up, you go into Vikings, get the Banshee, and you just go for the most powerful one-base tech combo pretty much in the game. The Raven will help deal with the Widow Mines that Shuttle has on the field, and the only thing that makes this build really hard is the fact that it's a lot easier to defend in Heart of the Swarm because the tanks don't require siege. All Shuttle needs is 45 seconds, and he's going to have a pretty solid defense against this.
He will. He's also got that Viking, which is doing a nice job of pushing back the Banshee at the moment. Obviously, we've got more coming out as well at the moment for Shuttle, in addition to the one he's already got. This push is starting to make its way forward. Those two Widow Mines will delay it slightly. The first tank is very close to completion for Shuttle. Now, once he gets that in, as you said, he's going to have a much nicer time trying to defend against this. He's even taking his natural command center, natural orbit command. And the problem for BeastyQT is if this doesn't do a nice amount of damage, then he's not really got much to follow up on. He's just about to go and start his natural CC now, but it's so late compared to that of Shuttle's.
Yeah, and those Vikings doing a great job of zoning out the Raven. You know, he needs that to be able to pick off these Widow Mines. I think right now the setup defensively that Shuttle has is going to be too much. I think picking off the Widow Mines and retreating is the ideal thing to do here. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose anything to those Vikings. He might, unfortunately not able to pick any of those off. And BeastyQT is going to take a pretty aggressive stance. He's not going to send anything home. He's got an SCV out here to repair on the field, and I feel like there's one way that you really try to do this. He's going to continue to build tanks and Vikings, and he's just going to go for a big super contain here very early on, which can really be punished well by drop play, but it's going to come down to how well Shuttle reacts to this, if he's aware that there's still an army sitting on his front door. But we are going to have to see, Metals. I'm honestly not so sure if BeastyQT is going to be able to do too much this contain.
No, he's got a couple of units there. He can keep Shuttle from moving out for a while, but the thing is, Shuttle isn't really that keen on moving out apart from in drops. He's got his natural base up. He wants to sit there. He knows that that natural base will be far sooner than BeastyQT's will be, just due to what BeastyQT's already got out on the field and outside with that previous push. And this drop is actually going to go completely undefended, unscouted until the very last moment. And with all of BeastyQT's army over at the natural base of Shuttle, he's going to try and move in, but I just don't see how successful this is going to be with the bunker, with the two tanks up. He's in a great spot.
Yeah, this is not going to be an egg he can crack at this point. The Vikings are all out on the field as well. He just has two more about to finish that are going out on the field. And that medevac with those 8 Marines, it's moving in. His stim isn't going to be done yet, which will help him. But BeastyQT is trying to move into a more of a gas denial position where he can kind of siege up the natural. And these SCVs being pulled from Shuttle, it's actually pretty big here. BeastyQT is doing a good job of putting the pressure on, but now Shuttle's running into the main base. We have a tank about to finish, but one tank does not 8 Marines beat in this kind of setup.
No, it doesn't. Those Marines, though, they are currently just focusing down the SCVs, will now go and turn their attention towards that tank. The gas is still being denied. The Banshee trying to pick it off, trying to get a little shot off on some of those tanks, if at all possible. The drop in the main base, though, of BeastyQT is doing a really nice job there. 14 workers, 15 workers already killed here by Shuttle. Really nice play. Yes, he's had to pull all of the SCVs from mining it as natural, but he's tearing apart the main base of BeastyQT, and that is the important thing. The Tech Lab researching stim is going to go down before it's finished. That's another big loss, and BeastyQT, he is going very aggressive here, and will try and get a single Seeker missile, which is going to be able to hit. Gets a nice little shot off there, kills a couple of SCVs, but still, BeastyQT, he's losing so much back at home.
Yeah, he's trying to pick up that natural command center, and I feel like he is going to be able to grab Shuttles on one base. Now he's going to immediately rebuild another command center, but, you know, what did he have to sacrifice to get that? He has 20 SCVs to 40 workers of Shuttle, and sure, he can split the saturation among his bases, but he has lost a ton. The one thing that's really favoring him still is the army supply. BeastyQT still has a lot more than his opponent. Shuttle cannot counterattack by any means, and I feel like at this point, bring the army home, stop producing any units, and just get a third command center and try to get your SCV count rolling again, because BeastyQT needs to recover economically. He already has the army set up. He just really hurt the economy of Shuttle, and this is his best opportunity to try to get back in the game, because Shuttle, he's going to go for a third command center as well.
He will, and it makes sense for him because he's got that worker lead. He knows he's done a huge amount of economic damage by pushing in there and taking out so many SCVs. I don't think Shuttle realizes quite how ahead he is in terms of the SCV count, but it wouldn't make any difference, to be honest, anyway. He wants to sit back, he wants to get up those 3 CCs, he's got enough to defend, but knows that clearly BeastyQT has quite a lot more, and he won't be able to engage. There goes down the scan as well, getting a good read. The other thing this tells Shuttle is that contain is no longer occurring. He's safe for the time being, and that in itself is a nice little bit of comfort for the Red Terran player here.
Yeah, another thing to consider is that he knows about the Viking count, which is equally important. We could see Shuttle go for a similar play, trying to siege up the top of that base. Now, BeastyQT has his Vikings positioned in such a fashion is that he can actually see this coming, but he's going to need to move all of his tanks to be able to hold on to it. He might have to use his Raven's energy for a point defense drone for his Vikings to come close to winning a fight, but BeastyQT, he knows that the units are outside of his base. Now the question is, how is he going to react?
Well, we see that now Shuttle is starting to move forward. He is going to take out one of those Vikings. He's going to get a second Viking as well. That is really nice for him. That currently takes the Viking count 6 for Shuttle to just 3 of BeastyQT. And now Shuttle taking a book out of his opponent's book, and he's going to go and siege up by that natural base. One of those tanks gets instantly annihilated. The second one taking a good couple of hits and will go down. This is a really nice position here. The Banshee will get taken out here for BeastyQT. Will not be able to get one of the tanks. 2 Vikings up against 3 of BeastyQT. Shuttle will be forced back for the moment, lands the Vikings, which is a smart move just to make sure they don't get taken out. But there's only 3 tanks remaining here at the moment for BeastyQT, up against 5 for Shuttle.
Yeah, this is a rough position to be in. You know, he doesn't have the air control that he really wanted earlier on. He's now continuing to produce these Vikings to get that back, but Shuttle's been able to put on a bit of pressure here. It's not necessarily game ending. He has managed to kill off some additional SCVs. BeastyQT's caught up in the worker count for the most part. He's only down about 7, which is a terribly big deal when you have mules on the field, and it's Terran. So it's really going to come down to when these players can actually take the third bases, when they can start to saturate them. That's when the real economic difference is going to come into play, because with this contained, Shuttle can move this third command center out behind it. As soon as he feels a little bit more secure, he does have his stem. He has combat shield and +1. BeastyQT, he's got his stem on the way. It's about to complete. Combat shield is not done just yet. He's just now getting his first engineering bays, and well, like I said, that +1 attack is already done for Shuttle. He's already getting up +1 armor. This is a very difficult position to be in for BeastyQT.
It is a really tough position for him. He's also contained as well, which really means Shuttle can take that third whenever he wants, and that moment is going to be now as he floated down towards the south location of his natural base. Already safe. A double drop though from BeastyQT. I think this is a really smart move actually, because if you know you're getting contained and your opponent's basically entire army is sitting there trying to stop you from moving out, go for a drop. They're very unlikely to have much back to defend, but unfortunately for BeastyQT, unlike when Shuttle dropped him, BeastyQT is going to be up against a lot of Marines sitting at the natural base of Shuttle, ready to defend this. The third may take some damage, but the defense is going to be much better from Shuttle than it was from BeastyQT earlier.
Yeah, and all those drops are going to be moving in pretty damn soon. That Marine, as a matter of fact, is just barely outside the vision of that tower, but BeastyQT's forced to lift his natural, and Shuttle now is the one that's really putting on the crazy amount of pressure, and BeastyQT's going to land that third command center. He's going to just put it over in the pocket base, but the drop is going to hit the third base of Shuttle, and the Marines are going to load up. Oh, one medevac picked off, completely full of units. That cooldown for Ignite Afterburners had to refresh, but BeastyQT's drop, you're right, Mattles, completely shut down because he left units at home, and now there's a drop at the third base of BeastyQT, as well as a couple Marines in the main.
Yeah, and that second medevac gets taken down as well. This is now so bad for BeastyQT. Shuttle is in a really nice spot. The one good thing going for BeastyQT would have been if he could get that orbit command down towards the third, but the drop from Shuttle is denying that. If he takes out the orbit command as well, that'd be brilliant, and he will manage to knock it out. The hairdryer goes flying. But yeah, things are looking really nice at the moment for Shuttle. These tanks just outside the natural base have finally been removed, but just take a look at the worker count, Nathanius. It's quite close, but the big difference being that there's 3 bases up at the moment for Shuttle compared to 2, and BeastyQT knows that he's not going to be able to come back from that. There was a drop going down in his main at the same time, and there is the GG, and Shuttle will take this best of 3 2-1.